Hey, Mark.
Hey, Bart.
How are you?
Good.
Good. What's going on? You look a little pensive.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
Oh,
I
why?
waited a long time to get these results from the Rate My Card video.
Oh, boy. No wonder you're nervous. Well, this is going to be a lot of fun because today we reveal from SGC, right?
I actually went to a trade show in Tacoma, submitted them to SGC. They take them from the trade show in Tacoma to Boca Raton, Florida, where they're based. So they personally transport them, which I like because that means I don't have to ship them, which saves money, and if anything happens, it's on them.
So you have not seen these cards, is that right?
This will be my first time seeing these since we filmed the videos.
Mark is referring to the Rate My Card episodes 64 and 65, where he tells us what grades he would give 8 of his better cards and also predicts how SGC would grade them. If you haven't seen the episodes, now is a good time to pause and watch them. We'll wait here. Welcome back.
It's tuxedo time.
It's tuxedo time. So as I recall, Mark, you made it clear that you are not a real fan of the grading system.
No, I'm doing this with some of my better cards just because it makes it easier for my wife or whoever inherits these things to market them and sell them.
Yeah, I think we said the term necessary evil a couple times last episode.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. It's a necessary evil. I don't really agree with the grading. I find it to be inconsistent.
What are your thoughts going in? Optimistic? Pessimistic?
I'd be surprised if I'm off by more than a point on any of the 8.
All right. Well, let's find out if you're right or horribly wrong.
Let's do it.
Okay. The first one says Piedmont on the back, shall we?
I have no idea what this card is going to be. We will find out together.
Okay. First one.
Here we go. We are not off to a good start. It did not get a number grade. They're saying authentic evidence of trimming on the Rube Waddell portrait.
Wow. So what does that mean?
It means that they feel the card has been trimmed or altered to give it better edges and better corners. Typically is why you would do that.
So when they say trimmed, you mean like someone else physically trimmed this after the card was made?
You know, the card is so damned old. This is from 1909.
Right. I mean,
so it could be anything.
Putting these cards in cigarettes, you know, when they manufactured them, I don't think they were worried about them all being exactly the same, right?
That's a very good observation, and there is an allowable variance in these cards too.
Oh, okay.
They're not all exactly the same size.
Right.
So this one, again, it says evidence of trimming. I don't see the evidence, but it does look to be a little bit short, top to bottom. So to answer your original question, it could have been some kid did it back in 1909.
Right.
It could be that, most likely, that somebody did it to nefariously make the card look better than it really is.
Right.
And improve the corners.
Or it could have just been manufactured that way.
Or it could have been easily cut that way. The cutting procedure was not rocket science back then.
Right.
It was pretty crude, and there is a variance.
They didn't have lasers and 3D printers. No.
Not quite yet.
Right. All right. Well, that's interesting. Well, if you look back on this card, you thought it was maybe even a 6.5. You predicted they'd come back with a 5, and they came back with authentic. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, big disappointment. Obviously, you wanted to get a number grade. I'm looking at the edges, and they do not look irregular. The cuts look perfect to me, but I could see where the minimum size might not be met.
So do they measure these, and do they know what they should be?
That's a great question. They're supposed to measure them. They saw something, and they won't explain. This is as much as you're going to get. In fact, the evidence of trimming is new. It used to just be a big A, and that's all you would get. So at least I know their reasoning, and this one, not off to a rollicking start.
Right. It is what it is. But you know what? You can't take away the fact that it is a gorgeous card.
It is still a beautiful, authentic card.
Okay, well, card number 2, another Piedmont, right?
Another Piedmont back.
What do we got?
This is the other Rube Waddell. The throwing, and this one did pretty well. This one got a 4.
Now that's what you predicted it would be, and although you thought it might be worthy of a 5.
Well, I personally would have given it a 5 based on traditional grading standards.
Right, and what do you think they graded that for based on?
A little bit of corner wear, most pronounced on that bottom right corner. little bit of rounding to it. Again, there's a lot of cards that were graded not even a decade ago that would have less wear than that and be sitting in a 5 holder or even a 5.5, 6 holder. They're getting tougher. That's obviously a nice card. Anybody would say that's excellent condition.
All right, well, you predicted Rube right on that one. Awesome. We got another Piedmont. What do we got?
Okay. We've got Cy Young.
This is where you thought it might be worthy of a 5 for good reason, and was hoping that maybe they'd come back with a 4.
I really thought they'd give it a 4. I am a little disappointed here. The centering is good enough. The focus and registration is great. The corners are not bad at all. There's no way that's a 3.5. So now, what do? This is the conundrum. They get you hooked because you're not happy with the grade, so you can resubmit it. I can either break it out of the slab and resubmit it as a brand new card, or I can turn it into them inside the slab and ask for an appeal or a review. Let's do this. Please, in the comments section, tell me, do you think I would do better resubmitting this card in its slab for a review or breaking it out as a totally new submission? This is not a 3.5.
You know, it's funny. I just always picture some guy in some back room eating a sandwich, looking at these things and just like whatever mood he's in that day, you know?
Well, yeah, that's kind of a running joke in the hobby.
It's just a gorgeous card. You know what? Screw them.
I was off by half a point, but that's a big half point. There's a psychological difference between a 3.5 and a 4.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It's a numerical difference, too. It's 0.5. I'm kind of a mathematician. Okay, enough of you. What's next?
Okay,
Yet another Piedmont.
Another Piedmont. It is Ed Walsh.
Ed Walsh. So in this one you were thinking maybe it was worthy of a 5 and it would come back a 3.5 and it came back a 4. So now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, but just in looking at this card, I don't see how this is any better than the Cy Young that we just showed.
I don't either.
I mean, it's a little less centered and the corners look about the same. And I will preface all of this by saying none of these cards have any wrinkles or creases at all.
Right.
So you might be thinking, well, that could be a factor. It's not. The surfaces of these cards are all pristine with no wrinkles or creases.
Yeah, so why is this a full 0.5 more than the other? I don't get it.
It makes no sense. But I'll take the 4. I'm happy with that one.
And I learned on our Rate My Card episode that he was one of the best pitchers of all time. I never knew that.
All the pitchers that have come after him, and nobody's got a better lifetime ERA than Ed Walsh.
Wow.
It's pretty impressive stat.
Beautiful card. Okay, so now this isn't the T206, so we know what this one is, right?
Based on the back, I know that this is going to be the Honus Wagner Philadelphia Caramel.
Right, which you thought might be worthy of a 4, and you thought they would give it a 3. Looking at it right now, you folks at home, what do you think? Let's find out.
Okay, I guess that SGC would give it a 3, and it is a...
It's a 3. Again, I don't know why anything would be less than a 4, anything that you have here, but...
Well, the name is pretty close to the bottom border there.
Oh, yeah, that's
true. A little
true.
off center. It's centered towards the bottom for sure. Side to side is a little off too, probably 60-40. I think it's the corners that are responsible for this one getting the 3. Most pronounced in that top right. So I think 3 is the proper grade. It would have been a 4 back in the year 2000.
Yeah, and it's Honus Wagner. Come on.
Honus Wagner.
So we're getting a mixed bag here, but that was a little more expected. It's getting a little better.
Yeah, that one was spot on with what I predicted.
So how many we got left?
3 left.
3 left. Okay. So now the back of this looks like the Cracker Jack one that we talked about being upside down or right side up.
Yeah, this is the 1915 Cracker Jack with the upside down back.
Okay, so, and that was who? Fred Clark, right?
Hall of Famer Fred Clark of the Pittsburgh Pirates. A very poignant shot of Clark.
You thought it might be worthy of a 4, and you predicted a 3.5, and it is...
And it got a 4.
All right, now you're talking.
Yeah, it looks really interesting in that holder. Now this one, the holder, meaning the gasket, doesn't come all the way to the card. And I think I might know why. I think they do that with the thinner cards where they put them in a plastic sleeve. Can kind of pinch itself between the gasket and the plastic. And again, in the comments, and if anyone knows if this is the norm or if you've seen it like this, I would be really interested to know.
I love that card.
Oh, it's a phenomenal card. It looks really good in that holder too. Tell you what, the 4 looks good too. I expected a 3.5 because of the corner rounding, but nice to see that there's a pleasant surprise in here or two.
Yes. So looking at the back of this card, what does that say?
El Príncipe de Gales.
Oh, wow. So we know from that, of the 8, that would have been what?
This is going to be the Zach Wheat.
Okay, Zach Wheat, you thought it was worthy of a 5, but predicted it would be a 4. Looking at it here, folks, what do you think?
Oh, it got a 4.5.
4.5. Ding, 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 ding. Sweet.
Nice, pleasant surprise there.
Yeah, boy, that's a gorgeous card. I love the sunsets they put in these things.
Yeah, it's pure artwork.
It really is.
That was once a small black and white photo. They did a remarkable job with this set and a lot of these early sets. It's just pure artwork.
Right, so 4.5 for Zach. That's great.
4.5, yeah. It does have sharper corners, and centering is pretty darn good too. So.
Right, so you happy with that?
I'm happy with the 4.5 on this one.
All right, we got one more. We know Sweet Corporal, but we also know that since it's the last card out of the 8, that this is your Walter Johnson card. So you were thinking it was worthy of a 5. You thought it would come back a 4, and I know you're going to be disappointed if it's anything less, right?
It was purchased around the year 2000 as excellent plus condition. That translates today to about a 4.
Oh,
excellent plus would be 5.5.
What do you have to do to be a 7 or an 8? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Pack fresh, they call it.
Pack fresh. Hey, how about you pack this, huh? All right, well, here we go. The big reveal.
Can't wait any longer.
Last card, Walter Johnson.
Okay, it's got to be a 4. I said 4. I'm sticking by it.
And it's...
Oh, okay. Look at the corners. Look at the focus and registration. How on earth is this a 3.5?
And they don't give any written explanation other than just like, this is what it is.
And I've got to say, when I said 4, I was being an extreme pessimist because there's always disappointment when you do these things. Now, I'm going to have to resubmit. So again, in the comments, let me know if it's better to resubmit it in the SGC slab or to break it out and treat it as a whole new submission.
Right. I know it's disappointing. I'm sorry. But SGC is one rating card system, right? Would you ever take it to a different rating system if you're not happy?
In my case, no. I've spoken out about PSA. I don't like them. I know
and PSA is another grading company.
They're the number one by a mile. But they take a lot longer to grade the cards, like 3 or 4 times longer. They charge more to grade the cards. Their grades are even more inconsistent. SGC is actually pretty consistent with their grades. And I just don't like the looks of the cards in their holders.
Wrinkly looking.
Crumpled cellophane baggy, you know. It's just not my thing. I don't like the company. It's my personal opinion. I know they're the most popular, and I know that most people out there probably use them. Yeah, I would love to see CSG gain a foothold in the market and get some market share, because I think competition is a good thing. It's almost monopolistic the way it is now.
Well, I tell you, I thought that was really interesting, and you were pretty close on most of these. You know, you knew what was coming, and you got a few surprises and a few disappointments. But you know what I'm looking most forward to? Slab Cracking 2, the episode of the year.
Yeah, the sequel will be happening, I'm afraid. And if you want to see a Cy Young and a Walter Johnson and maybe a couple others broken out of their coffins, be sure to tune in.
Yeah, I'm nervous already.
Yeah, I know. I don't like cracking out the big boys, but I think it'll be fine.
Right. Well, this has been super fun for me to experience, Mark, and I want to thank you.
Thank you. It was a bit of a wait, and in some ways it was worth it, and in some ways it wasn't.
All right, till next time.
Okay, take care.
Quick footnote on that last episode. You might have noticed how we just breezed right past the fact that Honus Wagner card is worth about $11,000 or $12,000, Mark?
It is. I had to look it up 3 times to verify it. But I guess because he has another very famous card, that kind of carries over to all of his cards.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, I think a high tide raises all boats. Is that the expression?
I don't know, but can I borrow some money?